Hello friends, welcome to this tutorial series. My name is Ujjwal Abhishek and I am going to take you through the entire PHP application development tutorial. So my intent for this course would be to give you a hands-on training on PHP with live projects and examples. I will seek your participation in all the exercise and quizzes that will be a part of this series. So to start with, let's understand why PHP. So very first question arises, what is PHP about? What it does? So basically PHP is a server-side scripting language which is one of the most popular language used as of today in building your PHP applications. PHP, when I say, is predominantly used to build dynamic data-driven web applications and websites. In today's date, there are a lot of frameworks and content management systems that has been built on PHP which are quite popular. To name some of them are WordPress. Magento is an e-commerce framework on which a lot of e-commerce sites have been based, and Drupal, one of the most widely used content management systems to develop websites. All of these systems are built on PHP, and these are just a few to mention. There are multiple frameworks built on PHP which are suited to a particular type of website, whether it be a survey system, or whether it be a training management system, or whether it be a HRMS system. There are a lot of open source frameworks available and management systems available in the market which you can download and install. But in order to leverage the huge community and ecosystem of these PHP applications to develop a website of your choice, what you need to know is PHP. Only then can you leverage these platforms in order to customize them and configure them according to your needs. So learning PHP is not very difficult. It is very easy to pick up. Mostly the programming syntax is very similar to C, C++. So at any stage of your career, if you have a basic understanding of programming, you can easily pick up the whole syntax and you can get along with PHP. Another huge factor for PHP being popular is that it is an open source system. That is, you can practically develop a whole website free of cost and without any licensing needs. And there is a huge community of active developers who support the whole PHP ecosystem with different kind of plugin packages, libraries that you can use to plug and play into your system to quickly develop solutions for your needs. So let's see what PHP is all about. So PHP, the acronym for PHP is Pre-Hypertext Processor, and it is a server-side programming language. PHP is a coding language that interacts with the server, that runs on the server side, and it helps you to create dynamic content based on data that is stored maybe in your database, or you want to run any business logic and based on that you need a custom content. So PHP helps you with running your business logic, retrieving your data, fetching your data, and showing up as HTML on the web page. We will discuss about all these concepts in more detail so as to give a much deeper understanding to you all. When we talk about web applications or website, there are two different types of websites. One is a static website and another one is a dynamic website. PHP is more towards the dynamic web applications. So what is a static website? Let us understand first. Static website is any website for which the content on a particular website page is not going to change irrespective of who is accessing that page. So for example, if 10 different people are accessing the same page, it will deliver the same content to all of them. And these static websites are built on HTML, front-end technologies, HTML, JavaScript, CSS. And there is no server-side programming language involved there, or any business logic, or any data-driven aspect involved. So there is no need of any server-side coding in those kind of websites. So to talk in simple terms, you can create a static website just with plain simple CSS, JavaScript and HTML. And the other type of websites are dynamic web applications, which have a data-driven output. That means that user information is captured in the database, and when a particular user comes to the system, he can fetch in his details based on the login or whichever way. So basically, in plain terms, a dynamic web application is an application in which the contents on the same page can change for different users. So basically, if I am visiting a profile page of my Facebook account, I will be having a different set of information. The other person who is accessing the login page will have different set of information. And these information are those information that has been fed by him earlier and is available upon logging in. So where are these data stored? These data are stored in the database server. But in order to fetch this data, process this data and show it to the users, it needs a programming language to fetch this data, process it, and render the HTML to be thrown out to the user to be seen as his web page, as his personalized web page. And that is where PHP comes in. So as you can see here, for a dynamic web application, the user types his URL on the browser, the request is sent to the web server. From the web server, the request is sent to the PHP interpreter or the PHP parser, which processes the PHP code, and then it checks for the code written to see if any data needs to be fetched from the database server, fetches it, again processes it in the business logic, and then generates the HTML for code for the processed data, and sends back the response to the web server, and from the web server the final HTML is rendered on the browser, and that is how the user sees the information on his system. So this is a typical transaction that takes place in a dynamic web application. So basically, database server and PHP combinedly adds to the dynamic aspect of the PHP as a programming language. So let's have a first look into how our PHP code looks like. So it is to be noted that every programming language has some syntax and some file extensions. So PHP follows a file extension ending with .php, so that the parser identifies that this particular file has to be processed, because your project folder can be a combination of .html files, .js files, .css files, but how will the PHP processor know which file to pick and process? So .php will specify that it is a PHP file, and any statement that you are trying to execute needs to be within the opening tags, which is like this, and the closing tag like this. So let's get further and have a look at how the code looks like. So PHP, being a server-side language, and is very tightly bound with HTML, and that's the reason why it is so popular. because in the same file you can write the PHP as well as HTML code. So if you look here, you can see that all these are HTML code, but here you can see the PHP code can be written inline along with the HTML. So this is the opening tag, the ending tag is like this, and then you have your statement. Echo is used for printing the string. So this is your HTML string, and always each of the line is terminated by a semicolon like this. So let's have a look at the output, what it shows up on my browser when I open up this index.php file. So all these HTML are rendering this, and this particular line says, but this code is interpreted by HTML and turned into HTML. So PHP can be used to create dynamic HTML. This can be a dynamic content based on different business logic. So that is what I'm trying to make you understand. So a PHP file, say if I say index.php, can contain HTML with inline CSS, JavaScript, and PHP. So that is the beauty of PHP, that it combines various technologies in order to render a web page that can be dynamic in nature. So that is all about this. We will meet up in the next tutorial, and in this next tutorial I will show you how to set up your local machine, your laptop, your desktop for PHP development environment. And this particular video will be for Windows installation. So see you on the other side of this video. Thanks for watching.